I found recordings of conversations I don't remember having. I found the recordings by accident. That's what scares me most about them. I wasn't searching for lost time, or proof of a blackout, or evidence that something was wrong with me. I was cleaning my laptop late at night, deleting old files, freeing space I didn't remember filling. Most of it was ordinary. Documents, photos, voice memos I barely recognized but could place vaguely in time. Then I found a folder with no date, no label, just a single word as its name: Conversations. There were 12 audio files inside. Each one was short, between 2 and 5 minutes. The file names were nothing but timestamps, hours and minutes, no days, no years. I clicked one without thinking, expecting static or silence or some forgotten pocket recording. What I heard made my stomach tighten instantly. It was my voice, clear, calm, focused, speaking as if I knew exactly what I was saying. At first, I assumed it was something I'd recorded and forgotten. People forget recordings all the time. But as the audio continued, something felt wrong. I wasn't talking to the recorder. I was talking to someone else, and they were talking back. The second voice was unfamiliar, low, measured, careful, not threatening, not friendly either, the kind of voice that doesn't waste words. "Do you understand what this means?" the voice asked. "Yes," I replied without hesitation. "That's why we're having this conversation." My hands started shaking. I didn't remember saying that. I didn't remember knowing what that was. I paused the recording and sat in silence, listening to my own breathing, waiting for recognition to kick in. Sometimes memory lags. Sometimes it arrives late. It didn't. I pressed play again. "You're sure you won't remember this?" the other voice asked. There was a pause, my pause, long enough to feel deliberate. "I've already taken steps," I said. "That's part of the agreement." Agreement. With who? About what? I listened to all 12 recordings that night. I shouldn't have. Each one revealed a version of me I didn't recognize. Confident, informed, disturbingly composed. I spoke as if I understood rules, limits, consequences. As if I'd been briefed. The conversations followed a pattern: questions, clarifications, warnings, and my voice, responding like someone who had already made peace with what was being discussed. In one recording, the other voice said, "You know why we can't be the ones to remind you?" "Yes," I replied. If I remember too early, it compromises containment. Containment. The word echoed in my head long after the audio ended. By the fourth recording, I noticed something else. I wasn't asking questions. Not once. I already knew everything. I spent the next day trying to retrace my steps. I checked calendars, messages, emails, anything that could explain where these conversations came from. The timestamps didn't match anything in my life. Some were in the middle of the night, others during hours I was sure I'd been at work or asleep or with people who would have noticed me missing. No one remembered me being gone. No one remembered anything unusual. That evening, I played one of the recordings again, this time out loud, in my apartment, like proximity might trigger memory. It didn't. But something else happened. Halfway through the audio, my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "You weren't supposed to find those yet." I stared at the screen, heart pounding. Before I could respond, another message appeared. "Please don't listen to the last one." I did exactly that. The final recording was the shortest. Only 1 minute and 11 seconds. It began without hesitation. "We're almost out of time," the other voice said. "If you hear this, it means something failed." "I know," I replied. "That was always a risk." "What happens if you remember everything?" There was a silence so heavy I could feel it through the speakers. Then my voice spoke, quieter than in the others. "Then you'll hear me again." The recording ended abruptly. No goodbye, no warning, just silence. That night, I dreamed of rooms without doors. Not locked rooms, sealed ones, spaces designed so nothing could enter and nothing could leave. I stood in the center of one, speaking to someone I couldn't see, explaining something I understood too well to be afraid of. When I woke up, my throat hurt, like I'd been talking for hours. The next day, more files appeared in the folder. 3 new recordings, new timestamps, all from the night before. I hadn't recorded anything. I lived alone. I listened to one with trembling hands. It was my voice again, tired this time. "You're getting closer," I said. "I can feel it. The gaps aren't holding as well." The other voice replied, "Do you want us to intervene?" "No," I said quickly. "If you intervene, it changes the outcome." "What if you don't like what you find?" I laughed softly. "That's not how this works." I started to understand the shape of the problem. These weren't recordings of conversations I'd forgotten. They were recordings of conversations I'd planned to forget. I began noticing other things. Moments of familiarity that didn't belong to me. Places that felt rehearsed, sentences forming in my mind already finished as if I were remembering lines rather than thinking them. Sometimes I caught myself mid-thought, aware that the thought had been interrupted, stopped, redirected. One evening, I received another message. "If you want answers, stop listening. If you want the truth, keep going. No number, no name, just the choice." I listened. The newest recording was different. No calm, no confidence, just urgency. "If you're hearing this, it means I was wrong," my voice said. "Or too slow." The other voice sounded strained for the first time. "Do you still believe forgetting was the right decision?" There was a long pause. "I believed it was necessary," I said. "There's a difference." "For who?" "For everyone else." That's when it clicked. I hadn't erased my memory to protect myself. I'd erased it to protect others from the version of me that knew too much. The final recording appeared the next morning. No timestamp, no file name, just static at first, then breathing, then my voice, barely above a whisper. "You're remembering now," I said. "That means it's already started." "Can it be stopped?" the other voice asked. I exhaled slowly. "It can be delayed," I said. "That's all we ever managed." I haven't listened to anything since. The folder is still there. The files keep appearing. And sometimes, late at night, I hear my own voice coming from my laptop, even when it's closed, still having conversations, still deciding what I'm allowed to remember. I don't know what I was involved in. I don't know what I agreed to. But I know this. If I ever remember all of it at once, these recordings won't be evidence. They'll be instructions.